Hey guys, just starting up a new channel here, and we are going to address ammo reloading, especially for beginners. And I happen to live in an apartment, so of course when space is at a premium and you still want to reload for your ammo, your guns, this channel is going to be dedicated to ways to do that. Kind of the best load data that I've found, ways to pull load data for different powders, especially in such a time of drought when it comes to ammo. So I apologize, I was out at the range earlier. I'm a little hot and sweaty, so I'm going to make this one quick, just a basic introduction. We're going to start the first process. Basically, I am reloading with a Hornady single stage press. I'm a beginner. I only started last December. I managed to master it in about a month and a half, and just recently moved up to Magnum class, and I'm reloading for that. By Magnum class, I mean this. We're doing 300 PRC, which is a Hornady round developed in 2018, released at SHOT Show 2018. So, it generally takes right around 71 grains of powder, 71 to 77, I believe. I don't have the load data on hand. So your first step, obviously I live in an apartment. You see I have my small little patio. Now, one thing we're going to do is, obviously, first step, after you've fired your brass, you keep it all. I even kept brass while I was at the range before I even knew I was going to be reloading, okay? I don't know why, I just felt like brass hitting the ground was a terrible thing. I reload 9mm, 380, 308 Winchester, 6.5 Creedmoor, 223, 50 Beowulf, and I think there's one other, and 300 PRC, of course. But I have lately, since I just started on 300 PRC, that's the one that I am focusing on at the moment. Okay, so after you've picked up your brass, you want to clean it. Notice I have not deprimed, because I don't want, when you deprime, you have all this gunk that's on it can get stuck up in the resizing die. And really the biggest hurdle to reloading is understanding the dies and what they do and the different ones that are out there. So say for instance my 6.5 Creedmoor, I don't have any need to crimp. The bullets seat with enough tension in the neck right there in order to hold the bullet firmly. Okay, now a problem I ran into with 300 PRC, and apparently other Magnum loads, also 6.5 Grendel has this problem, is you run into the neck not having enough tension after resizing, and it will not hold the bullet in place when you go to seat it. Okay, there are a couple solutions to this. I took the easy route. Instead of getting, I did get a shoulder or a neck sizing bushing that goes in the match grade Hornady dies, and I got the .338 diameter because the outside neck diameter is supposed to be .341. Well, that .338 diameter didn't squeeze it tight enough still to hold the bullets. Okay, well, so what I did is I went and checked on Midway, Mid-South Shooting Supply, and I got a Lee factory crimp die. Now, I used the Lee factory crimp die on my 50 Beowulf, and it didn't even dawn on me until I read some threads, some forums about reloading that talked about this problem. And so my answer to that was the Lee factory crimp die, which is going to be one of your last steps that we'll go over in another video. As I said, this is just a basic introduction video, okay? For all of you out there who are tired of standing in line for hours on end on truck days at your local sporting goods store, this was my solution. Don't get me wrong, powders and primers are still outrageously hard to find because there are some scumbags out there that are, they're swiping them off the shelves at the stores they work at. They're swiping them off the shelves as employees, and they are selling them on a website that I don't want to mention because I'm not going to give it publicity. They are charging $300 for 1,000 primers, where it's normally supposed to cost like 50, 60 bucks. Okay? So we got to put those people down. Stop them from doing it. I only went on there once and bought primers. The rest of the time, I hate to say it, I was at the sporting goods store checking. But I didn't have to wait in line because most everybody there was there for finished ammo. And of course, the basic components of finished ammo. Brass case, of course. Primer. Then you have your propellant, usually smokeless. And then you have your projectile. 4 basic components. And let me stop to emphasize that on this channel, throughout every part of this process, safety, 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 please. Okay? You are dealing with explosives. Do not handle these near the stove or, next to your welder. Yeah, I know it shouldn't need to be said, but it does. It does because somebody out there has done it. Don't be a moron, okay? You're dealing with explosives. Store all your stuff in a cool, dry area, and I will go over how I store my stuff and show you, the best you can, at least when you're in a very small space. Now, I may be moving soon, but I'll still have a little bit limited space. This channel is for all you guys out there, guys and gals, whoever, who want to take up reloading as a solution to providing yourself the ability to go to the range. I know some people didn't get to the range for months because they couldn't find the ammo, right? Okay, so the other thing, one thing I noticed after I started reloading from a 308 Winchester and 6.5 Creedmoor is my accuracy improved dramatically, and I mean dramatically, and it was amazing. Now I'll get factory ammo and I will take it apart and reassemble it after I've put it through my own process. Okay, so again, the first part of this process is you want to clean your brass. Now, what we have here is just your basic Frankfurt Arsenal media tumbler, using Hornady corncob media. You can use pecan shell media, of course, and I'm using Hornady One Shot brass polish. There are some alternatives on the market that I don't have a whole lot of experience with, but I do have experience with some, and they work just as good. Frankfurt Arsenal is a really affordable supplier of reloading components and equipment. Okay, so we're just going to stick our brass right here in the tumbler. Now you can do it as I've heard mixed suggestions. Some people say just like 30-45 minutes, and me personally, I love nice shiny brass. So what I'll do is I will take the brass polish, and before I put the brass in, I'll just do a couple of circles after shaking it real good. Just do a couple of circles while it's running. Just let it run and then do circles. Let it go through for a few minutes and break up. Then I'll put the brass in, and then I start it, and I usually let it do this. You see that? I usually let it do that for about 4 or 5 hours, just while I'm kind of puttering around inside. Okay? So, in this channel, I will go over the function of the dies, and the process from start to finish. And some little tips and tricks I've learned as a beginner, but also doing it in a small confined space when reloading spaces at a premium. Okay, so for now we're just going to clean the brass, and I will make a new video after it's done. I'll probably let this sit until a little after sundown, and then sift it, and then we'll touch base then. All right, be safe, y'all.